Today's video is brought to you by ablmerch.com. Grab all the latest hot merchandise, including the I Survived the Plandemic hats, t-shirts, stickers, mugs, and more through the link in the description box below. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Major League Baseball pulling the All-Star game and the draft out of Atlanta, Georgia, and moving it to Denver, Colorado. Now, this is a really interesting, kind of a head-scratching decision, because the reason for this, summarizing it before I even get into a detailed reason, a summary of the reason could be simply stated as saying Black Lives Matter. So you're taking an estimated $100 million of revenue away from a black place, moving it to a 70% white place because Black Lives Matter. Makes perfect sense to me. Now, I got to back up a little bit here to explain the reasoning behind MLB moving the All-Star game in the draft. Now, Georgia has new voting laws. People are kind of getting triggered at the voting laws. I think a lot of companies have come out spoken against it. Delta, Coca-Cola, and other places, they've said, hey, these laws are repressive and they're racist and all this and that and the third. And the thing about it is that Colorado has nearly identical voting laws. I think the only thing is that they may not require voter ID on mail-in ballots, but the laws are pretty much the same. And in some ways, they are more restrictive than Georgia's. So what is it really about? Georgia has expanded voting for many people. They've made it easier for many people, but they have made it more difficult to fraud the system, right? One of the main things is you got to have ID to vote in person, which is true all around the country. And you got to have ID to vote by mail, meaning you can't just get a ballot sent out just because, you know, you may be on the voter rolls. You have to request it, and you got to have identification to be able to get it. All right. So you have an ID, driver's license or whatever. Okay. Provide a driver's license number on your driver's license, get your mail-in ballot, and go about it that way. No fuss, no muss. Pretty easy, right? But apparently that's racist to request ID to vote because it harms black people. I don't see how that makes any sense because, I mean, we getting these stimmy checks. I'm seeing these stimmy checks get spent like it ain't no tomorrow, okay? People are spending these stimmy checks, getting fat, happy, and all that good stuff, right? Now, in order to get a stimmy check, in order to file your taxes, you got to have some kind of identification. You can't just say, hey, my name is Bill Gates, and I want to file a tax return. That's not how that works at all. You got to have identification to prove that you are who you say you are, all right? That's just the reality. When I go open a bank account, I got to provide identification. I got to provide something that lets people know I am who I say I am. Whether it's my social, whether it's my driver's license, whether it's something that says, my name is Anthony Logan, here's what I want to do. That's what it is. So if it's not racist to require identification to get this stimmy, to get welfare, they even make you do a credit check sometimes to rent an apartment. So if these things aren't racist, welfare benefits too. If these things aren't racist, then why is it racist to require identification when you're talking about voting? It's not racist. The reality is that some people, I'm not saying everyone, I'm not saying that it has been done in prior elections like in 2020. Some people want to have the door open to be able to cheat if they want to do it. All right. If they feel like things aren't going the way they're supposed to go and they want to be able to, you know, throw that curveball in there, they want to have that avenue available. They want to have that door open. But the new laws close the door. They might not put a padlock on it, but they at least close the door because there's always room for some kind of fraudulent activity, but it makes it more difficult to be able to do it. Now, when you don't have any kind of ID required, you could just do whatever you want. The door is wide open, right? It's like putting the border wall up. Now, the border wall won't stop all illegal immigration because there's ways around the border. You can fly and do different things, but the wall will most certainly, you know, reduce the flow of illegal aliens. When you don't have a wall, it's wide open. It's the same thing that you would do to your house, right? You're going to put a lock on your door. You're going to have a door in general. You're going to have, your garage door go down because you don't want to have weather. You don't want to have wild animals. You don't want to have wild people. You don't want to have anything dangerous get into your house. It's the same thing with voting. So because Black Lives Matter and we must protect the poor black person who cannot afford to get an ID, who does not have ID, you just going through everyday life. We don't have jobs where ID is required. We don't drive cars where ID is required. We don't go to the club where ID is required. We don't go and buy alcohol, cigarettes, or whatever where ID is required. Since we don't have any ID to go through our normal everyday life, since we're all on the street, we're starving, we're homeless, we're pretty much out here halfway naked on the street like we're just animals like living in the trees, right? Since that's going on in Georgia right now, then the laws are racist and they're going to move the $100 million All-Star game from a black city where a lot of black vendors would benefit. We're moving it from there and giving it to a mostly white place. And the All-Star game was going to honor the late, great Hank Aaron, who was an Atlanta Brave, who lived in Atlanta and who died earlier this year. I think he died in Atlanta. He got the vaccine 2 weeks earlier. I'm not saying he died from the vaccine at all. He was 87 years old. I'm just saying he got the vaccine to try and help black folks, go out there and get the vaccine more. He dies 2 weeks later, but that's a different story. I digress. The whole point is that the All-Star game was going to honor Hank Aaron at his home stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, right? But since it's gone now, I'm not sure how they're going to do that. Are they still going to honor Hank Aaron in Denver, Colorado? I don't know. But at the end of it, this is a result of wokeness. People that tend to be, so super liberal and super woke, and they want to help black people, end up doing things that hurt black folks the most. The welfare state hurting us. Removing the All-Star game hurting us. Atlanta, I go there a lot. I don't live far away. And it really needs this All-Star game. And to address, a point of contention or controversy, I know where the Brave Stadium is. I know it's in Cobb County. Technically, that's not within Atlanta city limits, but please stop. All right. If you ever been to Atlanta, there's a thing called the perimeter, right? That's Interstate 285. It pretty much circles the Atlanta city limits. And if you live in the perimeter, you're considered to be living in Atlanta, Georgia. Although I think not all of the perimeter has Atlanta city limits, but that's a different story. Anyway, if you live within the perimeter, you're considered to be in Atlanta. If you live beyond it, you're kind of in the suburbs or just in the outskirts, right? Like Alfreda, places like that. But the Brave Stadium is like right there on the edge of the perimeter. I mean, it's literally right there. It's a stone's throw away from Atlanta proper. The mailing address is Atlanta, Georgia. So yes, it is in Atlanta. And yes, this will hurt a lot of black people in this majority black city that need this. All right. I'm seeing some crazy poverty out there in Atlanta. This would be a great boost. But because we got to be woke and we got to say Black Lives Matter, we're going to remove that from a majority black place. Congratulations, Major League Baseball. You are the newest face of wokeness. And I'm hearing people are canceling their season tickets as a result of this. I don't blame them. You're taking away an economy boost to a place that most certainly needs it. You're caving into wokeness. You're going down this whole SJW thing. You had people kneeling on the baseball diamond last year for Black Lives Matter. It's like, all right, what are we doing? Which way are we going with sports? Are we going to go to this straight wokeness and bending the knee to anything liberal? And are we going to just become another enforcement arm of the Democratic Party? Are we going to become like the third wing of mainstream media? I mean, because you got the politicians, the media itself, and then sports. Is that what's going to happen here? Or is it going to be a fun pastime, a thing to do, something to enjoy, a game? Which way are we going? I think they're kind of caught in this weird purgatory. They don't know where they want to go. They don't know if they want to be just entertainment, if they want to be politics. In the meantime, in between time, while you're doing soul searching, how about I cancel my season tickets? How about I don't buy any tickets as a regular normie that may go to a game here and there? How about I don't watch any games? How about sports as a whole begins to decline because of a lack of interest? It's becoming more boring. You got guys crying, talking about, I'm not getting paid enough. I'm not really trying to hear any kind of millionaire sob stories. But as I close, I want to say this. Baseball, football, basketball, soccer, they're going to have to fix what they're doing here. This whole thing, becoming woke, is not working as a business model. It's just not even really accomplishing the goal that you want to accomplish. So hopefully they're able to get their heads on straight and do something else, because this is not working at all, not in the least bit. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Major League Baseball made the right decision here to pull the game out of Atlanta and give it to Denver, Colorado? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or was it a bad idea? Should they have kept the game in Atlanta? Whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments. You guys know where I stand. The voting laws in Georgia are not restrictive. I mean, every state has their laws. Colorado has voting laws. New York, where MLB is headquartered, has their laws. Why not just respect each state? I think Major League Baseball is just, they've become lobbyists. They've become lobbyists for legal action, and I don't want to see that. I want to be able to have sports just be sports. Entertainment, a fun time, a game. That's it. That's all, and no more. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.